Well, here's a really good debate topic. Are Pokemon cards in a bubble? Is the whole Pokemon investing hobby fugazi? Is it just one massive bubble that is eventually going to pop? I'm here to present some arguments on both sides to you today. It's going to be a very nuanced discussion. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. What do you think? Is the Pokemon investing space in a massive bubble at the moment? What's going to happen if it pops? What's going to happen if it doesn't pop? Let's discuss all those things throughout this conversation. Now, this is one of those videos, believe it or not, there'll actually be no graphics on the screen. It's just me and you guys and girls. So if you want to put it on in the car while you're going for a spin, if you want to put it on the headphones while you're going for a walk or at the gym, or the big one, if you want to pop it on the telly while you're doing some housework, by all means do that. Let's talk all things Pokemon card investing and is it in a bubble? So we all know that the hobby has been absolutely exploding in the last, well, geez, realistically, and I know I've talked about this before, so if you've been hanging around the channel for a while, thanks, of course, for watching, but you've probably heard this before. But if you're new here, of course, which 50% of you are, then every video, funnily enough, then, this would be your first time hearing it. But it was really Stellar Crown that was actually the catalyst that started this bubble. Way back, about 18 months ago, wasn't it? Or, geez, it's probably been a bit longer than that now since Stellar Crown came out. Time absolutely flies. That was actually the catalyst. That was the one that was selling out pre-order-wise like crazy. I can't exactly say why. Like, there was nothing really special about that set. It got the new rainbow style borders, which were really nice cards with that Terapagos, one of the legendaries, of course. And we did get the really nice Bulbasaur and Squirtle. Whether that spurred things along a little bit, not sure. Seems an odd set, but that was the initial caveat. And then, of course, we got Surging Sparks. Then we got things like Prismatic Evolutions. Then we had Destined Rivals. And you can see where it's all going here. We just got on an absolute boom. And then, of course, we've had Phantasmal Flames. And then we've had the big one, Ascended Heroes, and the bubble just hasn't popped yet. It just seems to be rising and rising. And moreover than that, not only is it modern stuff, which people are going absolutely crazy for, like, camping outside of stores, waiting for drops to happen, fighting over product as soon as it hits the floors. It's vintage as well. Vintage is absolutely blowing up. Like, some of the big hits, low pop, PSA 10, seem to really be becoming almost pieces of artwork, aren't they? And I guess, the question really as part of this conversation is this. Is it an actual bubble that is more fueled by investors and speculation than is actually fueled by collectors and players? I think that's the question to be had. Is it FOMO? Is it FOMO that's adding fuel to this fire, this crazy level that we're seeing? Or is it just purely collectors and investors and player base actually buying them for the love of buying them? That's sort of the question. And I guess the other side of this opening statement is, it's like every second person almost thinks that, Pokemon is going to be their retirement fund at the moment. And look, every second person is an absolute hyperbole, but you get my point. There's a lot of people out there that think, Pokemon's the token to get them rich at the moment. Property's difficult. Crypto is difficult at the moment. Share market is volatile with everything that's going on in the world. And then people are going, well, Pokemon, it's outperforming everything. So, is it that's fueling the fire as well? I think they're all the questions we're going to answer. And if we start off in the first topic, I think the first part of this conversation really needs to be what actually defines a bubble. What is a bubble in an economic term? Well, it's a rapid and it's a rapid and unsustainable level of growth to any sort of asset class. And we've seen it before. What goes up generally comes down. And they talk about it this way. They talk about it as in, it climbs the stairs up, so we get this up, and then it's like an elevator on the way down. We can lose 10%, 15%, 20%, in some cases 50% of an asset class overnight. And it's not the first time we've seen this in speculative secondary markets. We've seen it with things like, of course, everyone talks about the junk wax era from sports cards. There's also, and that's not the only example, NFTs. You've probably heard that story of Logan Paul, who's, love him or hate him, he's great to the Pokemon community. But You've heard about that story probably where he bought some NFT. I think it was like a monkey or something, and he bought it for, I don't know, whether it was 1.5 million. I'm just plucking numbers out of the air, but now it's worth like $20,000. So it's lost like 99% of its value since he bought it. So what I'm getting at is there are speculative alternative investments that have proven to be a bubble and just absolutely popped like that. So I guess the other question here, and when we define a bubble, is it's like, is Pokemon different? Is it resilient enough to, like the junk wax era with sports cards? Has it got that cultural backing of decades and generational nostalgia now to withstand any sort of bubble? These are all questions that I think are really, really important to open up. The second thing I think when we talk about it is, let's talk about almost the for. Let's talk about the for side, like it is in a bubble. So what's for that argument? I think we've got things like the scalping culture. So it's not actual collectors or players buying up the product. It's people buying up the product to then move it on and sell it for, of course, a higher value. That is that is literally scalping. Like scalping is buying it so consumers can't buy it from the intended place of purchase, whether that's online by setting up bots or something, or whether that's camping outside stores and buying and grabbing as much product as you possibly can to resell it. You're literally taking it from the place where consumers would typically go to purchase it, grabbing it yourself and setting a new floor for the product. That's what scalping is. So you're reselling it at a higher price. So general consumers that want to buy it, they've got to pay more money for it. That is literally scalping. So I think these are the things for this bubble. The scalping culture, I mentioned bot buyouts there. You've got other things like FOMO. I do think we see a fair bit of FOMO with a lot of singles at the moment. People almost artificially pump them to make money out of them. We've also got, and this is a big one, massive pop reports, like spaces we haven't seen before. When we look at cards that seem to hold true and hold their value, I talked about those vintage PSA slabs that are going for crazy money, whether it's Skyridge singles, base set singles, legendary collection reverse holos, some of the really rare promos, even XY promos like the Poncho Pikachus and whatnot. They're all going for insane amounts of money in PSA 10s, but all have relatively low populations compared to what we get now. We've got Umbreon VMAX from Evolving Skies over 20,000. We've got Phantasmal Flames Charizard, the newest kid on the block with a phenomenal artwork that's already nudging like 10,000 PSA 10 pop report. Like these are unseen before levels of PSA grading. It's crazy how much people are grading cards. Moreover than that, of course, we have the printing scale. Millennium Print Group, which was purchased by the Pokemon Company International back in, was it 21 or 22? Has printed cards at a scale never seen before. And moreover than that, this printing facility is about to expand, and we don't know exactly what that means, whether it's just printing in new languages, whether it's focusing a lot on English, whether it's a combination of everything. What we do know is printing isn't going to go backwards because of it in English or Japanese. It's particularly English though. It's only going to go up. You can't just buy more facility and then it goes backwards. So it's either going to stay the same or go up. They're really the only two options we have there. I think they are all the things for this argument that Pokemon is in this massive speculative bubble. Now, of course, there's a counter argument to that side of things. And here's some of the points that I see as a counter argument. The first one is, it is the biggest media franchise the planet has ever seen. It's absolutely bonkers how big Pokemon is. It eclipses everything by a mile. So that means it's more than just this tiny little bubble. It's more than that. I guess you'd say it's a cultural phenomenon, and now it's shifted generations. Every new set of kids that's coming out is watching the animes, they're collecting the cards. There's people who are in their 70s, 60s, 50s, 40s, 30s, 20s, teens, and kids, from 5 to 10 years old that are just getting into Pokemon, anime, trading cards. It is just crossing boundaries and crossing generations there. It has 30 plus years of, solidity in the market. Like, it's just crazy. And what that does is it brings It brings new collectors daily into the hobby. It brings new money. And here's probably the biggest for argument that I want to end on with the for side of things, because the other counter argument is, everyone's hoarding boxes, but like, yes, everyone's hoarding boxes, but the level of money that keeps transforming in this hobby is something that seems to be exponentially growing. And what I mean by that is the generation, like my generation, so I'm talking mid-30s, the rule of thumb is you generally don't get poorer as you get older. Unless you make poor decisions, you generally don't get poorer as you get older. Your net worth grows. Maybe an investment property pops off. Maybe your shares pop off. Maybe your Pokemon investing portfolio pops off. What I'm getting at is from your 30s to your 40s to your 50s, you gain more disposable income. You gain more net worth. It gives you the opportunity to do things like make big purchases to your Grail card. Like if your Grail, for example, is a first edition fossil Dragonite in a PSA 10, and the population for that card is incredibly low, and you want to be one of the handful of people on the planet that owns it, and you've got heaps of disposable income, and you're going to love it. When your mates come around, you're going to be like, boys, that's the card. That's the one we all wanted in the school playground. And whether you're in your 40s, 50s, you know what I'm saying? As you get older, spending 50 grand on that card might not mean much as you get older. If your net worth is $4 million, spending 50 grand on a Grail piece of artwork that you can keep in your house is not all that expensive in the grand scheme of things. If you're young and your salary for the whole year is 50 grand and it's tough to save any money, well, that card seems way out of reach. You get my point. I almost think that's the biggest for argument. The amount of money coming into this hobby will, in my opinion, exponentially grow. Look, I'm not saying Pokemon's going to be around forever. It's not. But that's why I think some really strong for arguments. Now, before we go to the closing statement, I guess, big shout out to today's video sponsor, which is, of course, the Collector app. It is the one-stop shop for all your investing and collecting needs. You can put all your singles and all your sealed product into the app. You can scan things as pro users so it comes straight up. It tells you everything. There's set analytics for all English and Japanese sets. You can see the top hits from every set. You can see the trends in the market. You can see your whole portfolio loaded in there. Filter it from most expensive to least expensive. You can see what's moving on a daily basis. When you sell now, it'll lock in your profits, so it shows you the profit that you've made. It's just the one-stop shop app for anything Pokemon investing or collecting related. So there'll be a link in the description to download that one. Right, well, the big one. Let's round things up. What will actually cause this bubble to crash? What will cause this bubble to burst? I think a couple of things. A, if the printers just go to 1,000 and there's just product after product after product, and people will leave it. All those people that think they can get rich off Pokemon will leave it. And who knows, maybe that's a good time to buy. So I guess massive reprints is one thing. Way too many people holding. And then what happens over time is if too many people are holding and the secondary market gets flooded with that product, it just doesn't go up because there's too much supply to meet the demand. So then people go, well, hold on, it's actually not making me rich like I thought it would do, and then they step out of the hobby. So I guess the answer to what could cause a crash is bulk amount of people and bulk amount of money leaving the hobby. And there are a couple of reasons for that. Another reason could be that we just get week after week after week set. Like we get multiple week sets. That will cause a few people to exit the hobby. That'll cause a lot of people that have made small stores or pop-up stores or different people that have made access to distribution accounts, that'll make them leave the hobby. What are your thoughts? I'm forever the optimist with Pokemon. I think no matter what, it is so strong. It's generational, it'll cross boundaries, it'll cross generations. I think it's safe for decades to come, in my opinion. And even if they stop the CCG altogether, or the TCG, whatever you want to call it, I think it'll continue. Prices will be strong, particularly for sealed product, because how are you ever going to get it again, other than what's left in existence? I'm Michael, this is PokeOz. Please let me know your thoughts down below. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and I'll catch you all next time.